Madagascar, a country known for its breathtaking biodiversity and turbulent politics, has once again found itself at a crossroads. This video will break down how a wave of youth-led protests and a military defection culminated in Colonel Michael Randrianirina being sworn in as Madagascar's new president, and what this means for the nation's fragile democracy. Stay with us till the end, and don't forget to subscribe to the Indian Express for more international updates. In the capital Antananarivo on Friday, October 17th, Army Colonel Michael Randrianirina took the oath of office at the High Constitutional Court, just days after a dramatic military takeover. This comes after weeks of mass protests over severe power and water shortages that turned deadly. According to the United Nations, at least 22 people were killed and over 100 others injured in the unrest. The protests, largely driven by a youth-led movement, accused President Andry Rajoelina's government of neglect and corruption. Tensions escalated when the CAPSAT military unit, commanded by Randrianirina, refused orders to fire on protesters on October 11th. That moment shifted the course of the uprising. Just days later, the parliament impeached Rajoelina for desertion of duty, after he fled the capital amid the crisis. Media reports say Rajoelina was evacuated aboard a French military plane to the island of Reunion, before traveling on to Dubai. His office later confirmed he fled fearing for his life. At the swearing-in ceremony, Randrianirina appeared in civilian attire, not his military uniform. A deliberate gesture aimed at signaling that the new government will not be a military dictatorship. He promised to hold democratic elections within 18 to 24 months, and said talks were already underway to appoint a consensus prime minister. However, Rajoelina's supporters have called the court's endorsement of Randrianirina procedurally illegal, warning that it risks destabilizing the former French colony even further. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on Thursday, October 16th, condemned the unconstitutional change of government in Madagascar and calls for the return to constitutional order and the rule of law, said his spokesperson Stefan Dujarric.
The Secretary-General condemns the unconstitutional change of government power in Madagascar and calls for the return to constitutional order and the rule of law. He takes note of the decision taken by the Peace and Security Committee of the African Union to immediately suspend the country from participation in all activities of the African Union, its organs and institutions, until constitutional order is restored in the country. The Secretary-General encourages all Malagasy stakeholders, including the youth, to work together to address the underlying causes of instability in Madagascar. He reiterates the availability of the United Nations to support these national efforts towards the attainment of that goal in collaboration with the African Union and the Southern African Development Community and other international partners. Just on the humanitarian front, to remind you that in recent years, Madagascar has faced an El Niño-induced drought, multiple cyclones, and locust infestations that have devastated crops. A malaria outbreak earlier this year has further strained an already fragile health system. According to our colleagues and partners on the ground, nearly 29,000 people are experiencing emergency levels of hunger. That's IPC 4 phase, and now those people are in the Grand Sud region of Madagascar. This figure is projected to soar to 110,000 by 2026, with malnutrition, disease outbreaks continuing to escalate. Funding cuts have further constrained the UN's ability to respond.